Shalom, my friends, this is Max Joseph, and I'm here because it is the first day of July, which means it is time for the predictions. To give a quick rundown, the predictions will be a video that will be released on the first of every month and will feature my predictions for the upcoming Academy Awards. Each category will feature the maximum number of nominees possible, with an additional few that are the next in line. And then because it's still early in the year, there's no need to do the big snub that should make it like I have in the past. So instead, I'll add an additional few nominees that'll be titled Followed By. And I won't always get into detail about every single pick because then the video would be 9 hours long. So I'll always talk about my pick to win and then some other highlights on the list. And now we have a brand new elephant in the room. Usually I do my spiel about COVID-19, films are getting pushed, postponed, all of that stuff, which is still a thing of course, but the even bigger news regarding the Oscars, for the 4th time in its history, the Oscars have officially moved their date. 2 months. The new date is April 25th, live, it's still going to be live at the Dolby Theater on ABC. This was obviously expected to happen, so it makes sense, but it's still crazy. But the thing that really didn't make too much sense to me is that they only extended the eligibility date to February 28th. I'm just not sure how much of a difference that'll make as far as releases go. Eternals is now eligible, which is great, but besides that, and I guess a few others, there isn't much currently slated to come out in that time that are big Oscar contenders. That can obviously change at any time, so we'll see. The cool thing about that is that in theory, it means films that premiere at Sundance could be eligible for this year's Oscars. If a film that premieres in January gets picked up and is given a theatrical release by February, it has a shot at making that February 28th deadline. That's crazy and very exciting. Anyway, all of that happened last month. Greyhound is back in the picture because it was picked up by Apple TV+, premiering in less than 2 weeks. Five Bloods has happened. Eternals is now eligible. So much is happening. So much is changing daily, and it will continue to change. Tenet and Mulan keep getting pushed back, so who knows when those will actually end up coming out? I have no clue. What I do know is that this is shaping up to be a very exciting season. And although a lot is up in the air, there's still so much wonderful cinema coming out. And that means it's predictions time. But before I go into my predictions, write your predictions in the comments and make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel and ding that little bell to get notified whenever I post new videos. But more important than that, please make sure that you are registered to vote and cast your ballot when the time comes. Register to vote at www.vote.org. And so, here are my predictions for the 2021 Oscars, July edition. Best Picture. I still think that as of now, it'll be between Mank and Five Bloods. Now, we've already seen Five Bloods, and we haven't even seen an official image from Mank yet, so what do we know so far? We know that Five Bloods was overall loved by critics, not that that means anything, but it tells us a little bit. Spike delivered another knockout, and there's gonna be a huge campaign for Delroy Lindo for screenplay and a bunch of other categories. It has all the tools it needs to be a frontrunner, but something that I think is so important that I just can't stop thinking about is how timely Five Bloods is. When was the last time a film as prevalent as this one came out? I'm not saying a film should be awarded because of how timely it is, but it's happened in the past. And thankfully, in my opinion, if Five Bloods wins Best Picture, it would deserve it. But I still think that Fincher's Mank is gonna be the one to take home the grand prize in the end. People are gonna love watching this because it's gonna be a feel-good movie for a lot of voters who loved Citizen Kane. I keep thinking about why people loved Once Upon a Time in Hollywood so much, and I think it's because they loved old Hollywood. So to see it done so well, it's almost too easy to fall in love with. So with Fincher directing, Gary Oldman leading the charge, it has Best Picture written all over it. And then something interesting to note is West Side Story. I had it in my top 5 last month, but because of recent events, which I'm not going to get into at the moment, I think it may unfortunately affect the film's chances in nearly every category. So it did move down a few slots in this lineup, but we'll see what happens soon enough. I'm hoping the overall theme of the film isn't overlooked. It is a vital story for the world to see and hear right now, and there are so many actors and people of color, so much diversity in this film. It deserves to be seen. It deserves to have the recognition. Best Director. Although Spike's direction was wonderful for Five Bloods, I think Fincher may still win here. I'm not saying Five Bloods wasn't incredible, because it was, but I think that Fincher really may put out the greatest work of his career. And if that's true, I think it'll be his year. So I actually moved Spike down one slot, which moved Aaron Sorkin up to the number 2 position. We still don't have anything from Chicago 7 either, but I think that this is right up his alley. And we know the script will be incredible, and with a cast that includes Sacha Baron Cohen, Oscar winner Eddie Redmayne, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Tony winner Alex Sharp, Oscar winner Mark Rylance, Michael Keaton, Kelvin Harrison Jr. There are so many incredible actors in this thing, and I think that Sorkin is going to direct the heck out of it. Not to mention, they are gonna chew that text up, eat it for breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert, and even have a midnight snack. I cannot wait. Also, now that Sorkin is at number 2, it's Fincher versus Sorkin, and that just rocks my world. The 2 leading players of Social Network will be battling out for Best Director. Neither have won this award yet, which makes it even more exciting. And I'm keeping Chloe Zhao in because for me, I think she's a brilliant director, and she's directing 2-time Oscar winner Frances McDormand, Oscar nominee David Strathairn, and I believe this will be a very intimate experience and something totally different than anything else we've really seen this season. Dune, on the other hand, well, you have box office, you have superstars, and you have every single element to make a hit, as well as being an Oscar film. It also happens to be directed by Denis Villeneuve, who has only 1 Oscar nomination for his direction of Arrival. So I think those first 3 are set for now. Then you'll have Zhao's Nomadland, which is the smaller film, and then you'll have the big blockbuster that Villeneuve's Dune will be. Hopefully we'll see a nice variety in this category. Actress in a leading role. Last month I had Marion Cotillard in, but that trailer for Respect told me something. Jennifer Hudson was born to play Aretha Franklin. She was also born to play Effie in Dreamgirls, but this is the role she was really born to play. Hand-chosen by Aretha Franklin herself, this could be huge for her. It's so underrated that this woman already won an Oscar on her first try almost 15 years ago. We know the Academy loved biopic, and I think that this one could be one of the better ones to come out recently. The cast is gorgeous, the production looks stunning, and I'm hoping this can be one of the bigger movies this year. Hopefully it's not just a J. Hud earning the sole nomination for this film. Hopefully they get a lot. It's funny that I went from one musical performance to another because of that stat that I talked about last month. If we have 2 musical nominees, it'll be the first time that has happened in this category since 1964, when Julie Andrews won for Mary Poppins against Debbie Reynolds, rest in peace, from The Unsinkable Molly Brown. Imagine if we had 3 in this category. I think I'd explode. Actor in a leading role. I have 2 words to say. Delroy, Lindo. That's it. I think that this is going to be his year. I know it's way too early to call, but this was the kind of performance that defines a career. My only reservation with saying it's over is that today is July 1st. The Oscars aren't happening for almost 300 days. 300 days! We have more days till the Oscars than we did last month. So a lot can happen in that time. A lot can come out, and unfortunately, a lot can be forgotten. I'm praying that this performance won't be among the forgotten because this work deserves a whole lot of recognition. So obviously Bill Murray has been knocked down 1 slot, and if that's the case, I don't see him winning at all. As of now, I think it would be one of those situations where he steamrolls everywhere, and if he doesn't do that, I don't think it's going to happen for him. Now Gary Oldman, he feels like a lock at least for a nomination, so he should get in pretty easily. Then if Annette comes out on time, I feel like Driver feels like a pretty solid pick, and then whoever goes lead for Trial of the Chicago 7 will most likely get in here, whether it's Eddie Redmayne or Sacha Baron Cohen, or someone else, I'm not sure, but someone will most likely get in here. There's also the chance that they run everyone supporting, but I don't think that'll be the case. Anthony Hopkins also has a great chance of returning to the stage for the first time in his career 2 times in a row. So if Annette doesn't come out on time, or if Chicago 7 is all supporting, he feels like the obvious choice to make this lineup. Actress in a supporting role. This race is between 2 of the greatest actors on the planet, if you ask my opinion. Saoirse Ronan and Glenn Close. And both are fighting for their first win, and I'm not sure how it'll go down. Because in my mind, Ronan's role feels a little bit juicier to me. But if Close does some of the best work of her career and she becomes a thing, it's over. It's over. But just looking at the roles and the stories, I'm gonna stick with Ronan for now, but that could change very quickly. Now last month I said that the 3, 4, and 5 slots are wide open, but I think that it's now just the 4th and 5th slot. Why? Ariana DeBose. First, this woman is having a year. She not only has West Side Story coming out, but she's also in The Prom, and you're gonna see her dance her face off in a couple days because she's in Hamilton. But let's not forget who she is playing in West Side Story. Anita, a role which has already earned Rita Moreno an Oscar almost 60 years ago. Anita is without question the most complex character in West Side Story. She is a hard-working Puerto Rican woman with an impeccable moral core and demonstrates fearlessness and is tougher than any of the Jets and the Sharks combined. Anita is someone who the world really needs right now. And I expect Ariana DeBose to do this character and its important history all of the justice it deserves. Do not sleep on her. Actor in a supporting role. Last month, I was all about Chadwick Boseman, but I put him out of the running because I'm really not sure he'll even end up getting nominated. He had a much smaller role, which he was brilliant in, but I think they'll focus more on Lindo for lead and then Jonathan Majors for supporting. And let me put it out there, Jonathan Majors should be nominated for supporting, but I'm not sure that'll happen as of now. So with Boseman not in the running, I'm gonna go to Tom Burke. With the exception of last month, he's been there every month since the beginning. It also is the Best Picture frontrunner, which can obviously help out a little bit. Also, with the extension, everybody's talking about Jamie is now eligible, which means that I am gonna put Richard E. Grant in this lineup. Those first images of him in the film look gorgeous. So I'm all about him having another Oscar run, especially since he gave me my favorite Oscar campaign ever. I love this man, and I think he's gonna do something really wonderful with this character, and it's gonna be a really important character this year. Original screenplay. Once again, it's Mank versus Trial of the Chicago 7. And again, I think Mank will take this one, but I'm not nearly as confident on this as I am with picture or director, actually. Because I think Sorkin is probably a better writer than director. I can't say that confidently, but I'm gonna say it anyway. So if I were to gamble, which I don't, on his chances to win director or screenplay, I'd put my money on screenplay. But I think voters may just make it easy on themselves and vote for what they see as the frontrunner for pick and director and go with Mank. Will it be the late Jack Fincher for Mank, Oscar winner Aaron Sorkin for Chicago 7, BAFTA nominee Francis Lee for Ammonite, or will it be Pete Docter, who has been nominated 4 times for his work with Pixar? This could be a really tight race, and I'm really curious to see how this one plays out. Adapted screenplay. Greyhound is back in the game, and it's coming out in less than 2 weeks. It's gonna be Apple's first big Oscar contender, and that should gather enough attention by itself. But will it be enough to break into the 5? I'm not sure. Nomadland and Dune both feel like easy choices to get in here. Hillbilly Elegy and News of the World are in the Best Picture race, and Next Goal Wins is there as well, but a little bit lower. But I'm gonna keep Next Goal Wins in because it happens to be written by Taika Waititi, who won this exact award a few months ago for one of my favorite movies of the year, Jojo Rabbit. So I want to say I feel good about 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then that 5th slot is the only one I'm a little iffy on, because I could see something like Those Who Wish Me Dead or Greyhound sneaking in there. My biggest hesitation is that I'm not sure these will get in nearly anywhere else. So for now, keeping with Next Goal Wins, but that could change once Greyhound comes out. I love Tom Hanks. I love his writing. So I'm hoping it'll be great and that maybe he can get in there. Animated feature. So because we don't have a new release date for How Do You Live, I've taken it off this lineup. It's unfortunate, but I just don't think as of now that it's gonna be coming out anytime soon. So, Over the Moon has moved up, and to be honest, I think it may deserve the slot anyway. I mean, did we all see that trailer? I'm obviously not saying Soul is in trouble because Pixar, but this looks gorgeous. Remember, this is a Netflix film, and just last year we had 2 Netflix films nominated in this category. I Lost My Body, which was expected to make the lineup, and the beautiful surprise that Klaus was. Now, I'm not saying that I think Klaus was the runner-up, but I'm not saying that. So it's come close. And with Oscar winner Glenn Keane directing this animated musical, I think it could maybe pull out a surprise, but I don't think it's very likely. Also, Wolfwalkers is going to be on Apple TV+, so I think it'll get a good push by them. Again, not enough to top anything, but it might get in there. But the brand new addition to this lineup is Aya and the Witch. Take out one Studio Ghibli film and a new one enters. What's so exciting about this film is that it is Studio Ghibli's first ever CGI movie. They're known for their hand-drawn style, so making the CGI is going to get people excited. Also, we already have the first images, and it looks glorious. But when in doubt, go with Pixar. The stat that cannot go unnoticed is that when Pixar is nominated for an original movie, aka not a sequel, it has only lost twice. It's 8 out of 10 for original films. Even though the world is different, history shows us you do not mess with Pixar. Cinematography. Gotta be Dune until something else comes along. They have that perfect holiday release of December 18th, and the only thing standing in its way is The French Dispatch, which is scheduled to come out October 16th. Dune has Greg Fraser teaming up with Denis Villeneuve, which feels like a magic trick to me. So Fraser will be looking for his first Oscar win, but French Dispatch has Robert de Jouwman, who is also trying to get his first win. He somehow only has 1 nomination thanks to Grand Budapest Hotel, another Wes Anderson film, by the way. So we have 2 brilliant photographers fighting for their first wins, and then after seeing Five Bloods, I think that has a shot as well. Plus, we haven't seen anything from Mank yet, with cinematography by Eric Messerschmidt, and Tenet, well, Hoyt van Hoytema is the DP there, so we know that this is a possibility. Plus, he's also never won. Some really incredible humans in this lineup, and I think this one may actually be exciting. Unless Dune is on the level of Roger Deakins' Blade Runner 2049, this one may be closer than we think. Production design. I think I need to write a quick jingle about nostalgia. Here we go. Nostalgia. Nostalgia. It's just a thing. Think about how crazy voters went when they saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood last year. Barbara Lang gave them something to drool over, and it worked. So I'm looking at Donald Graham Burt bringing home his 2nd Oscar because it has nostalgia. Nostalgia. And it's also a period piece. It has everything it needs to win this award pretty easily. And something I saw in the comments and got messages about in the last month was when I brought up your all-time favorite movie. I said to imagine if someone were to write a movie about the creation of your favorite movie. You'd lose your mind. If someone made a movie about the development of Shawshank Redemption, I'd lose it. I'd be so excited to see the jail, to see the costumes, to see all the different rock hammers. I'd be a kid at a candy store. Mank is gonna be too chock full of goodies for people to pass on. My only thinking is that Wes Anderson films have some of the most gorgeous designs in the world. I always talk about having instant identity, and his films have that. You know you're watching his films when they start. I love that. And so do voters, as we learned from when Adam Stackhausen won this award for Grand Budapest Hotel. So he has a shot at getting another one here. Costume design. We have one brand new addition to this 5, and I am thrilled. That teaser trailer for Respect was gorgeous, and the costumes were beautiful. So I'm looking at Clint Ramos to get in here right now. We also now have Eternals. It was there originally, but after it was pushed back, out of the running. But now that they extended the eligibility date, it is now eligible again, which is gonna be big here and in another few categories coming up. I still don't feel super confident that I'll be able to get past Dune or French Dispatch, but if Eternals is anything like we're expecting it to be, it could happen. Could the MCU take home another costume award? Black Panther did it, and I think that it's possible. But for now, sticking with Jacqueline West and Bob Morgan to win their first Oscars. But Milena Canonero won this for Grand Budapest, so she's right there. I feel like I'm mentioning Grand Budapest all the time, rightfully so. But also Sammy Sheldon for Eternals. This is a good matchup. With the return of Eternals and putting in Respect, this is exciting. Film editing. What nominations do you need in order to get a Best Picture nomination? History tells us that it'll look pretty good if you have at least 1 acting nomination and film editing. Since 1934, less than 15 times has a film won Best Picture without at least a film editing nomination. That's hard to ignore. Obviously not 100%, but what I always recommend is that you should have at least a couple of your Best Picture options in this lineup just to be safe. Also, last month I said to not be too surprised if West Side snuck in to make this lineup, but I don't think that's gonna happen as of now, unfortunately. I'm not saying it's not gonna happen at all, because I think it has a good chance of being nominated. Michael Kahn teamed up with Steven Spielberg again after winning this award twice before with him as director. So it's a winning combination. We just have to see how West Side is received. But Dune may end up having the most editing, and sometimes that makes it the frontrunner. Not that that is the reason why it'll win, because I think the editing will be great, but it's something to consider. Makeup and hairstyling. Similar to costume design, Respect did it for me. And that makeup and hairstyling was one of the highlights. So that made the lineup. And again, Eternals is back in the game, so it quickly moved back into this 5. The MCU has been nominated for this award twice. The first time was for Guardians of the Galaxy, the second was Black Panther. But it actually ended up winning at that time, which was so deserved, by the way. So for Eternals to win, it would have to do something really incredible, which I'm obviously not counting it out, but it's just gonna have a tough time jumping over 2 Best Picture frontrunners. But it feels good for a nomination at least. What I'm really curious about is what will take that 5th slot. The Witches feels right, but I'm not convinced it'll get it done. This slot is very open. Sound. Best sound. Just sound. Nolan. Gotta go with Nolan until anything else gives me reason to think otherwise. I was so concerned with what my choice would be when they split this award up, but then I quickly remembered I already had Nolan winning both, so felt easy to give it the win. His films have been nominated in the sound categories 8 times, and he is continuing to use Richard King, who has won this award 4 times, 3 of which were with Nolan. So Dune will have to do something better than that, to put it plainly, to beat it. Then, of course, Greyhound and Eternals are both back in this mix, but I don't see them really taking Tenet down. Whatever happens, it'll be really cool to watch this award play out, just because we haven't seen it as one category in a very long time. So recent history won't really play into this too much. Visual effects. 2 big things. First, BIOS has moved to later in 2021, so that's out of the running. Second, this is where Eternals will really have a shot, I think. Because originally, I had this between Dune and Eternals, but Eternals got postponed. You know the story because I've mentioned it so many times. So it's hidden here. Anything can happen. This race is now between 3 potential huge blockbuster movies, and they all have history with this award. Dune is directed by Denis Villeneuve, and his movies have won this award in the past. Tenet is directed by Chris Nolan, and his films have won this award, and the MCU has been nominated for this award a bunch of times and still haven't won this yet. And I know that that one is going to come sooner rather than later. This is going to be a tight race between the 3, I think. I think it might for a lot of these tech categories. Original score. This is really turning into one of my most anticipated awards, mainly because every time I think about how excited Hans Zimmer is just to be working on Dune, I have a little baby dance party. In a recent article from IndieWire, Zimmer has been, quote, driving Dune team crazy with so many score ideas and experiments, end quote. That alone is just music to my ears. It's so wonderful to see Hans Zimmer so passionate about this project. That's the kind of stuff that I think voters will really hear and remember. He's already begun campaigning for himself without actually campaigning. It's wonderful. His biggest competition is another former Oscar winner, Ludwig Göransson, but I'm not sure that he'll be able to top what I'm expecting Zimmer to create. When it's a passion project, I think something different happens. Original song. Unless Annette or Soul gives us something better than Billie Eilish, I don't see anything else coming within social distancing walking of her. But I'm hoping that this isn't just one of the easy ones to call. I'm praying that we get an incredible soundtrack in Annette and Soul. But Annette may not happen this year, so who knows? Pixar did beat out The Greatest Showman a few years ago in a shocking twist, which was wonderful. So who's to say that they won't do it to the upcoming James Bond film? If Annette does end up getting postponed, I think this one is just going to be Eilish until we see what happens on April 25th, 2021. Those are my predictions for the 93rd Academy Awards, July edition. Let me know what you have predicted in the comments. Agree? Disagree? Let me know. And so my friends, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you like this video, give me your thoughts in the comments, subscribe to this channel, as well as follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at mjoseph492. Like my page on Facebook, which is facebook.com/MaxJosephFilmPerson. Join the Amino live chat, which is open 24/7, 365. And if you really love me, please consider being a member of the channel, where you can get member-only content, guest interviews, giveaways, and lots more. You can even give me a film to review, a 10th of the month top 10 category, a ranking, or a song to sing. And that video will be dedicated to you. Shalom, my friends.